So we have a few different things that I want to talk about today, and those all involve the resources that are available remotely or as virtual services through the libraries. Um, so my goals for anyone who's watching this is that you are aware of those services that are available to you, and also that you feel comfortable using them when you need to. So I'm going to share my screen to walk through some of those services. So here we are on the homepage of the library's website. The first thing that I want to talk about, which I already alluded to a little bit, is that all of us liaison librarians do meet with students one-on-one, and those meetings can be virtual if you need research support at any point in the research process. So I wanted to make sure you could uh, find your librarian. So from the homepage of the library's website, we want to go to this tab that says Visit, Study, Learn. And then if we scroll down a little bit, one of the options right here is to meet with the librarian. If we click on that, it gives us a nice alphabetical list of all of the different areas that you can take a class in at Grand Valley and the librarian who works with that area. So if I scroll a little bit, you can see that I'm the librarian for art and art history as well. I also have modern languages, and quite a few other departments actually. And then the other information that's here is our emails. Um, so if you need support in, say, a film class, you could come here, confirm that I'm the librarian for film, and then you would have my email address. I would say that's the best way to contact any of us to set up an appointment. Our schedules really vary quite a bit from week to week and day to day. So that is the best way to set something up. It is a little bit different than maybe some of your professors who might have like 2 hours set aside on Monday afternoons for office hours. Our schedules don't really allow that as librarians, so we encourage you to reach out over email. Um, if I go back one tab to that Visit, Study, Learn page again, one of the other options that's available to you virtually is the knowledge market. So if you have a question about your research, but you're not sure you want to go directly to a librarian, the knowledge market can connect you with research consultants who are your fellow students. So they're peers, they've been trained in a lot of the same research skills that are needed to help you navigate library systems. Um, and you can make appointments online. So we have in-person appointments and virtual ones. So I can show you what that looks like. If I click meet with a consultant, it will take me to the Book It system. And if I went to create a new appointment and say I was interested in that research consultation, although we do also have options for digital skills and speech and writing as well. But if I selected a research consultation, can put in the different information about what I need support on. And then I can also select location to be virtual. So that is how you would make sure you can meet with a research consultation virtually. I'm just going to pop back to the web page. If I click into the services as well, the hours are listed here. So you can see that the online services through the research center and the knowledge market are quite a bit more than say when I would be available as a librarian, right? I usually work a little bit more of a standard 9 to 5. So if there are questions that come into my inbox in the evening, I'm not going to see that until the next morning. Although if it's a student, I do try to reply pretty fast. But if you need support in the evenings and you want to meet with a consultant to work through your research or just bounce ideas off of somebody, get them to help you out in that process, there is an evening option available here, which is also great if you are working in addition to being in classes. Um, let's see. We also have, I'm going to click back again to this Visit, Study, Learn page, which again is one of the tabs from the library's homepage. If I scroll down a bit further, there is another link to further online services available through the library. And there are options here for chat, text, or email. So really a lot of different varieties, modalities, depending on what you're most comfortable with. And these hours are even later. So up until 12 a.m. today, at least. I don't know if that's every single day of the week. I could click through and see the hours if I wanted to. So hopefully, no matter when you have the time to dig into your assignment, dig into that research, we can still help you out, even if it is 11 p.m., right? Let's see. If I scroll down a little bit further here on this online library services page, there are a few more options. So we already talked about how you can find information for librarians. This is just another way to get to that same page. But another thing I want to point out are the subject and course guides. So I'm going to click through. If you were on the library's homepage, you could also get to the same location by clicking subject guides under the main search bar. And this is an alphabetical list, again, of most of the major and minor areas offered at Grand Valley. And what a subject guide is it's a place where over time, librarians have compiled all the most relevant resources for a specific disciplinary area into one location. So if you are, say, taking an art history class and you are taking it as a gen ed, but it's not an area you're familiar with, you don't know the best databases to use, you don't know where to start on your research, this is a really great tool to get you to those places. So I'm just going to pop into that art and art history guide so you can see what it looks like. Often they're not all identical, but they do usually have different tabs along the top for different types of resources. We can see in this case, there's one for articles and databases. So a lot of these databases will be where we can get some of those more scholarly articles. You also do have the information for the liaison librarian for each area within the subject guide. So if you forget where to find me in other places, you can always find me or the other librarians on these subject guides as well. And then because this is the art and art history guide, we also have a tab for, say, images, which is not something that pops up everywhere else. But this is what I mean when I say there are resources specific to that discipline, and they're already all compiled in one place so that you don't have to find or figure out which library databases are the best for this. We already have them listed out in one place for you. And then beyond all of this, there are a few more pretty cool resources that are available remotely through the libraries. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit and pop into our Find, Borrow, Request tab. Of course, if you're searching either in our main search here or in databases, we have a lot of journal articles and ebooks and various other things that are available digitally. But I do also want to point out that we have digital collections from our special collections and archives. And I feel like a lot of people often assume that archives are in a dusty basement somewhere and you have to visit in person to get to those physical items. But we have also been digitizing some of those collections over time. So some of the collections that are most used in research assignments or that are interesting for various other reasons, we've been trying to make those available online as well. So that is another, I think, interesting and exciting thing that is available virtually. So if I pop into it, I can see that there are 52 different digital collections that we have available online. You don't have to visit in person for. And they cover a pretty wide range of disciplines. So there's a lot of interesting different things in here. If you do have an assignment that's geared a little bit more historical or that you need archival sources for, I just wanted to make sure folks knew that this was an option that's available uh, digitally as well as in person. So I'm going to go back to the library website here. And I have one more resource that I wanted to point out before we close out or leave a little bit of time for questions. Um, and that is, see, I'm still on the Find Borrower Request page, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit further to the Borrow and Request section and point out document delivery. So if this is a service you're not familiar with, this is where we can get materials from other libraries. So Grand Valley has a lot of stuff, but we're also not the biggest university in the world. We're not the biggest library in the world. There are others that have really valuable tools and information that we don't, but we can get those items from other libraries. So if there was a chapter of a book or a journal article that the University of Michigan had, sometimes we can still get those items for you through services like document delivery. Now, this does require folks to sign in or create an account. Um, so I do have an account, but if you didn't, it would prompt you to log in at this time, which is just your standard GVSU credentials. And often, I think sometimes people think of document delivery as we're getting a whole book shipped physically from library to library, which it can do, but we can also just request articles or book chapters through this. And digital copies are also pretty fast through this service. So it only takes usually a day or two for us to get that to you. So it's most helpful if you're able to fill out as much information as possible about the thing that you need. And then again, like I said, if it's an article or a book chapter, often we're able to still do that digitally and email it directly to you. This is a service that's available for all students as well as faculty. So please, if you're interested in something and you really want access to it and it's going to improve your research or it's going to be great for your personal interests, you're welcome to use this service. It's not just for professors, it's not just for graduate students. It really is an option for everybody. Okay, so I'm going to stop my screen share here. And those are the main services that I wanted to highlight. Again, I listed a bunch that I think are helpful and useful to most students, no matter what you're studying, no matter what you're interested in. But there are a lot of other things. This wasn't an exhaustive list. So please, if you have other questions or you're curious if the library can do something for you virtually, I am always a resource. Like I said, I'm the go-to person for all of these disciplinary areas. So if you have a question, you're welcome to just reach out and email and we'll see what we can do.